Hello, I'm Rick Joyner, and this is a video special bulletin. And in this one, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that I see going on in our government, about some of the bills being passed or not passed, and just where I think we're going in the economy. We get a huge amount of requests for, is the Lord showing us anything about the economy and all? And recently we've had a huge spike in the stock market, and that's encouraging. That's a good thing. The stock market is basically a measure of the value the world puts on business in America. That's about the most general way to put it. And it's encouraging that they're thinking a little more highly of us right now. Just having, a bill that really, where the Fed came out with saying they're going to buy back some of this toxic stuff, and with about $300 billion or whatever, just something like that, so encouraged people that there was a plan. The first stimulus bill, I don't think did anything to stimulate the economy. It may a little bit here and there, public works, but in my opinion, it just totally missed the target if it was a true stimulus bill. The main producer of the economy, the main stimulation is business, and small business are the main provider of new jobs and everything else. And there was not 1 cent in that stimulus bill for that, which is providing 70 to 80% of all new jobs. I mean, things like that. To me, it just missed the target. I don't think it was a stimulus bill as much as a grow government bill, and that's scary. That's really scary because, to me, that was the worst thing we could be doing right now. The government is weighing and is a crushing weight on the economy right now. All these billions of dollars that are being spent on bonds and things like that to finance government debt is money that is needed by the economy to finance growth and finance industry and jobs and things like that. And it's being sucked up by government debt. That's a bad thing. I am personally, as an economist, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an economist, and I am a student of the economy, and I've been a business person, but I am just really very concerned about the growth of government and about the stimulus bills that do nothing, in my opinion, but inflate the government in a huge way. But there's a deeper concern. Now, if you want a prophetic scenario, what I think is happening, throwing all this money out there will stimulate the economy a little bit for short term, which I'm saying I think we're going to have something of a bubble. And the reason I think it's important for us to understand is I think we're going to go through a period of time when it's going to look pretty good for a while. And I'm saying this because we need to use that time to really get our houses in order. And because it's not going to last. A lot of things that are being done to bring about a very short-term, and to me the most inefficient way of even bringing a short-term stimulation are things that are really going to hurt us over the long term. Now, one thing, we are in a global economic community right now, like it or not. That's just the fact. And a whole lot of business in America, a whole lot of our stocks, our bonds, government treasuries, and everything else are bought by other countries. One of the main reasons America has been so attractive for that kind of investment has been the trust they had in our government being stable, and number two, contract law. A huge amount of the mortgages in the subprime crisis were bought up by foreign countries. And one thing they did believe in, even though, okay, maybe the properties are not worth as much and all these derivatives caused us to pay way too much for these mortgages, they at least felt, we still have the contract of the mortgage is sound. We're going to recover some of our investment, through the asset or through the mortgage being paid over time. There was something there. And then in the stimulus bill, we come out, no, we're going to let everybody come in, renegotiate their mortgages and change the contract. All of a sudden, it's a whole different set of rules, and nobody has really gotten specific about how they're going to allow them to change it. But all of a sudden, the whole world is looking at, we always trusted America that their word was their bond. Their contract law was absolute. They were just founded on that. You could trust in that if nothing else. All of a sudden, that trust is being badly shaken right now. And even huge nations that have been really the main ones to finance our debt, like China, they're saying they can't trust America much anymore. And there are a lot of things that are going to erode long-term trust in what's going on. These are going to have a long-term impact. Somehow that's got to be recovered. And I appreciate President Obama when the Congress, over this AIG debacle, on all these bonuses being paid out. 1% of the TARP money given to them was paid out in bonuses. And, your tax money given millions of dollars in bonuses to their, say it was something, it's easy to get outraged over something like that. And especially, why are bonuses being given to a company that's losing like they're losing? It didn't make much sense to us, but it was in their contract. And Obama was saying, when he said, I'm not going to sign that bill, that we shouldn't, when the Congress decided they're going to tax 90% of the bonuses, which, that's just an arbitrary, let's get even with them. And Obama was really right to say, wait a minute, we need to slow down here. That was not right. Everybody's offended by this. It is an outrage, but we can't change what we can't change this contract. And now, then it comes up that our Congress, the congressman, Senator Dodd and some of the others, put those bonuses in the bill. I mean, this is bizarre. And then it comes up, these are the congressmen who have been taking huge amounts of donations to their campaigns and everything else from AIG and took some after the TARP money was paid for them. Obama received a lot in that TARP, from investments in his campaign. Now, it was Republican and Democrat across the board, but this is looking worse and worse as far as the credibility of our government and our officials. I mean, this is going so deep now. And then we have, we were all a little, I think, appreciative of some of the congressmen challenging the, heads of our auto companies when they came to Washington, their big private jets, which I'm a jet pilot, and I used to fly those types of planes. I know what they cost. I know what they cost to run. It's several $1,000s an hour. So, it was costing a lot. Now, there's those executives, their time is worth that in a lot of cases. And being a pilot, I understand that. It was probably an efficient way for them to get to Washington, get in and out of Washington, actually. But the very ones who scorn them, like now it comes up, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, is using a government G5 jet to run back and forth to her home in California, maybe every weekend. I sat down and did the math. That's $30,000 to $40,000 a weekend that she does that using. And the government, to me, if we're going to jump on the auto industries for poor management and everything, how about the government? Nothing has been run this poorly, and nothing has been melting down faster than we've seen just the last few weeks as far as poor management goes. And yet they're using our government jets, which we're paying for and paying all the costs and expenses on. But, and I'm not just saying, but what it's doing, it's further undermining credibility. Through the whole time when Bush was being nailed for having the lowest approval ratings in history as a president, what people weren't bringing up, that his approval ratings were still 2 to 3 times as high as the Congress. So there are fundamental issues of trust and credibility now that are going to have long-term impact. And the things that have come up, the tax and spend party, it looks like almost everyone from them that were nominated for a position weren't paying their own taxes. Well, we've got issues here. There's something of credibility, there's something of trust that has got to be reestablished, and basic honesty and transparency. And this is what many people voted this administration in for, but we haven't gotten a lot of it. We've gotten the opposite, and this is going to have really bad long-term effects. So I do believe when this bubble comes, we really need to get our houses in order, but long-term, things are going to be very shaky if they don't turn around very fast. They can turn around. And I think we need to pray for our leaders to wake up and throw off this veil of deception, delusion, and everything else that is on them, and return to basic credibility and trust. Thank you.